Yeah. So, yeah, how's it going?
It's going. I think the other boy is studying tonight.
Yeah, that's okay. You got to do that sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, life goes on.
No time for video games.
I had a conversation with hold on, there's always time for video games.
Yeah,
Do you
that's me.
find that? Do you find you play video games for like I gotta chill out a little bit. I gotta play some video games.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I do.
Do you
I do
find it
that.
difficult to play some games because you want to relax
Oh
and
yeah,
some games stress
totally.
you out?
Hmm.
I have a hard time playing Thumper. I really like it, but I can't bring myself to actually play it.
Yeah, no, no, I totally agree. There's certainly a class of games that falls under that category. Um, I think playing a type of game like that with someone else makes it a little easier to play.
Yeah, of course.
But like that's why I can still play like games that are against other people competitively sometimes, but still enjoy it because I'm playing with someone else and it's not as big of a deal. But
Yeah.
um,
Is that, but part of that, I know one thing, I've been pretty vocal about it. But I find that one of the things that I've kind of molded into is somebody who likes to play video games instead of watch video games. I know that we've talked about that quite a bit, right?
yeah, we have for sure.
And I think a large part of that comes from I'm trying to relax. I'm not trying to gear up, I'm trying to gear down.
Hmm.
And I don't want to commit so hard to, and this isn't necessarily the case all the time. And once you get into it, let me explain first though. Like if you're asking me to sit for 2 or 3 hours to watch story,
Hmm.
that's not playing video games. That's
Yeah,
watching story. And while that story can get me into a game once I'm playing it, then great. But that initial investment is brutal sometimes. And sometimes I just don't have the patience for it.
right. I'm actually more willing. It's funny, like if I am not super in the mood to play a certain game, if it's a new game, I have no idea exactly how it's going to be. I'll be more interested in playing something that I have just to see the beginning of it, just to kind of get in, because I know it won't be too challenging at the beginning, even if it's going to be a challenging game later. And in those situations, I don't mind actually. That would prompt me to play something that I wouldn't in a time that I wouldn't normally play a game. If it was a game that I had just started for the first time, like I'll just check it out. You know what I mean?
Does that work better with like Steam games and indies and stuff? Like I find a
Yeah.
lot of the times with
Well,
easy games or cheap
mm,
games, I'm okay with just pop it on for a few minutes and test it out. Where if it's going to be a like a larger investment, a big time sink. So one game
yeah,
coming up for me, I think in the near future is Dragon Quest.
right.
I like starting that.
Yeah.
I dread starting it.
You got to be in the right time. You got to have the right amount of time and energy to actually start. I these days I could imagine just starting a game like that though. I know what you're saying. Maybe because I'm not planning on getting it, that's why I can talk that way. But with something major, I gotta imagine something like that for me. What would
Well,
that?
you think about Ease 7.
Yeah,
Is that Lacrimosa of Dana?
Lacrimosa of Donna.
Um, I wanted to shoot myself in the beginning of that game. And
Yeah.
you
Why?
put,
What?
well, just, I don't know. I don't care to
Slow start, kind
introduce
of.
characters. I don't care about stupid intro story. I don't care about, like, and once I was set and like, okay, now explore and grind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's why indie games are do. Yeah, I mean, they have less of that, right? So you feel more comfortable just throwing something on to try it for a second.
But is
You'll be in the meat of it soon enough, right? You don't have to go through
sure.
that long. But for Dragon Quest, a bit different. I actually would enjoy the beginning of a Dragon Quest game a lot, just to kind of see what everything looks like and the music, and I would want to sort of bask in that environment longer.
Do
Anyway,
you not feel though that kind of by Dragon Quest 11,
hmm
it's kind of like, okay, I get what it looks like, I get what it sounds like, I get the themes. Like it's just introducing me to new characters that are slightly different from the last characters.
I think if I was excited enough to play it, I would because it's been a while since I played a new Dragon Quest game, right? Like I didn't play 10 or what, I didn't play 9, 8. I already played, even though I did buy it again. So to be honest, it's been years since I've played a new Dragon Quest game. So in that regard, I think actually I would be pretty excited to just kind of take it slow at the beginning. But would that be a game that I would just throw on? I don't know. Like if I was tired, I would still actually start a game like Dragon Quest because I don't. It's not going to be mentally tasking. There's just going to be like, it's just going to be enjoyable. You're going to watch a bunch of cutscenes.
But the cutscenes are not enjoyable to me, I think, is
No.
where I'm at in my
Mm,
life. Like, I just let me just walk around. Random encounters, I'm okay with. Like hitting X a bunch of times to fight, fine. Like,
mm,
I'm okay to do those things. I don't
yeah.
want to sit through story.
Why do you? Why are you so excited about this game then? Why do you want to get it?
No, I mean, it's because of Dragon Quest. Like, there's things I like about it for sure.
Yeah.
It's just the story thing is killing me. Yeah, I
Well,
was thinking about I bought this is a few years ago now, but I bought Xenogears on PS3.
hmm
Like it's PS1 on PS3, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I started it and it's so wordy and the text
Mhm.
scrolls so slow.
Yeah, that's
it
a
was
problem for me.
it was killing me.
Mm.
And I love the game. I love the idea of the game. I love there's so much about it I love. It's just the text is insurmountable now.
I'm pretty sure one of our longtime listeners though was one of his big games, from what I remember chatting. Anyway,
Ken?
no, yeah, Kenan, the longtime listener. Someone else, someone with one I know,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's the RPG thing is tough now. I mean, it's funny because again, the game itself is not my issue. It's the getting started is the issue.
right. Well, if 8 had such a long wind up, right? Like
But I
that
think they all
game.
do.
Yep, yep. They all
How do
pretty much
you
do. 7
how do,
does too.
how do you feel about Dragon Quest Build? Oh no, Builders you're not a huge fan of, right?
No, I was at the beginning. It just didn't get deep enough for my liking. I was expecting a bit more of a Minecraft level of, like, I was expecting some more mechanics, like another layer of mechanics that had to do with like the town. Like
Mm.
it would have been better if they had kept the same town the whole game
Persistent Town, I agree.
and added on and added on and added on,
Yep,
and then like some cool, like not super complicated mechanics, but they could do something neat
absolutely.
where you modify the buildings over time to give them better buffs. Like maybe you want to use more magic casters, or make it a party system maybe somehow where the
Mm.
party kind of follows you and can do spells, or they're not directly involved in the building, or but you can do sort of like a real time where they're sort of with you kind of battle system. That'd be cool. And then some, maybe I'm making it too complicated, but I wanted to see like some cool shit like that. Like make it a little more interesting. Like it
Are
was a
you
little too bare bones.
are you curious about the second one coming? Apparently they fixed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I'm not expecting them to do the things that I'm wondering about. Like,
That's fair.
sure, so you could if you're only after building things, but I wanted building things with some kind of a purpose too, right?
Sure.
Like with a bit of a mechanic too. Like build, like I did building things in Minecraft, right? Like that's good, but I
Mhm.
already done that, so I want another thing. Like give me some goals to how, try and do this with your building. Like try and set up the bigger you make your bath in the bathhouse, you get a extra bonus of whatever, right?
You get a clean buff.
Yeah, and then you got to try and like, oh, well, I want that buff. I like that one, but I want to modify my build. I like you start to run into space issues or whatever, and then you got to sort of think creatively, like, hey, oh, maybe I can build this on top of my bathhouse, or I can like work a little bit more room out of this spot, or if I modify this building, like I like that, and then you sort of get into like, oh, well, then I need this piece, and then that doesn't look good, so I got to go hunt this little piece down to put in that spot, right? Like
All right.
it starts to get a combination of aesthetics plus game mechanic, right? Like I like that cool stuff. When it's not just about decorating a house for the sake of it, which is, sometimes can be fun, like Animal Crossing, but also there's some little bit of mechanic to it, like some feng shui kind of stuff to it, right? Like that's what I thought would be in it. So
Do you want to talk about video games we played?
I didn't play too much else.
No,
That was new.
I,
Um,
I, I played enough
one
for both
thing,
of us.
I played one new thing. I picked up Synthetic. It was on sale on Steam.
Is it?
It's a twin stick roguelike shooter with a lot of good reviews. It's got a cool reload mechanic. It's like a futuristic, like gun based game with different character classes, and essentially, so the reload mechanic is kind of cool. It does like you got to drop the mag out of the gun when it's done, and you can drop it early and lose ammo, and then you gotta actually time your reload. Otherwise, you waste time. So you're doing that while you're moving around. And then there's like a jam mechanic where you got to hammer on the reload button to get past it, like a jammed weapon. So when you mix that in with the gameplay, it's actually kind of cool. It feels really cool to do all the button presses, but it was a little too, like we were just talking about, like a little too high energy, fast paced for something that I was interested in at that moment. Actually, I didn't think it was going to be that intense. And there's like a dash mechanic, kind of like, what was that game that we were playing? That twin stick shooter co-op one that you had at your place. Remember that one? Neo something for PS4. We played a bit of it.
Oh, where you got to like get the people.
Yeah, that one.
Was it the Housemark one?
Yeah, it was.
Uh,
It's like that, except with,
Next
roguelike
Machina.
elements. That's right. It feels like Next Machina, but with like headshot mechanics, this reload mechanic.
That's too much.
It's a little intense, and a dash and stuff. So, and it's co-op
What's it
too.
called? Sorry.
It's called Synthetic with a K at the end. I think it's only on Steam, but it has co-op and stuff, and there's like a level up mechanic, and there's different
Synthetic
classes.
Legion Rising.
Yeah, they added an extra DLC for free, and so they renamed it. But the one character class has like a riot shield they can use to block bullets. They all have different abilities. It's cool. There's like 8 character classes and stuff. The different weapons all feel different. Like one of the weapons was kind of cool. It was a sniper rifle where it says something like it had a bonus that said 360 no scope. And so what you'd do is while you're aiming, you'd spin your mouse around. You'd literally spin your character around, and you get like a double damage buff for like a split second. So you're running around spinning your friggin' mouse around to get this.
It actually looks way cooler than I was expecting it to. Like, it looks awesome.
Based on some other stuff that I play, yeah. No, yeah, it looks great for sure.
Wow.
It's cool, but it's intense. You got to be in the mood for that, right? So, yeah. Played a bunch more Caves of Cut as a result of that. Still, and you want to talk intensity, okay? So I don't think I really outlined why I'm into those types of games like Caves of Cut. It's intense because you can run into something, you don't know what it is or what kind of a threat it is, and it can just end your game. Like that's it. You lose that character, right? And that kind of tension combined with I can take as long as I want to, like chess like figure out what my next move is, I just find really compelling. I don't get super nervous because I can take as long as I want, right? I can go make a tea and then come back and think about what I'm going to do for literally the next turn because I saw some scary monster that I've never seen before on the screen, right? So there's that element that I think no other types of games really handle because, you can just start at the last checkpoint or you can, right? Like there's no other types of games that do that kind of tension for me anyway. So that's what's bringing me back to this game. Sure. So, but that's all I played this week. Nothing really extra except grinding a bit more Destiny 2 stuff.
How'd you do on Raid?
Well, the new patch glitched one of the bosses, so no one wanted to do Raid this weekend because it would have been a little more challenging. Yeah. But what I did do as a result of that was I went after one of the exotic quests, which is a mini raid they made and they hid it in the game. It's a 3-man mini raid. Takes like 3 or 4 hours if you're doing it from the beginning, I think, if you've never done it. And it's pretty damn cool. Like it totally makes sense from the story. If you're into lore, like it does a whole bunch of stuff at the same time, and a lot of cool mechanics are in it, and you only need 3 people, and it was hidden. It was hidden for like a month. And it leads to an exotic bow that you can get. So I ended up doing that. The only thing that's a bit of a shame about that, right, is that I knew about this friggin' weapon way before I knew that there was I knew the name of the quest because people talk about it, right? So if you're not ahead of the game, you're usually not going to find this stuff out on your own, which is a bit of a shame because, like I like the mystery stuff, right? Like I like figuring things out on my own if I can. So it's a bit kind of frustrating that these kind of hidden things in games I'm usually not going to be able to access or figure out unless I really don't play with other people. And if I don't play with other people, then I'm missing out on another part of the game. So it's like, I don't know why companies make these kind of things. I mean, I know why, but they're making them for the community and the hardcore people to figure out as a group. But I'm never in that group, so I don't ever get
And it
to.
happens so fast, and then it's just
Yeah,
people following what like something
yeah,
online, right?
yeah. So that's like I appreciate the effort and everything that went into it, but it's like I miss that mystery, and that's really what's difficult nowadays. Like, actually, you want to talk about games that did that pretty well. Spelunky did that really well, where because you playing that's a single player game, right? Same with Binding of Isaac. Like, there's a bunch of secrets in that game that are you can figure them out yourself that are really cool, and if you're into the game, you'll get rewarded, and you don't have to be spoiled, unless you really do it by accident. But like, I like that kind of stuff when it's not super ridiculously hard. Like, remember PT? How like one person was supposed to figure out PT out of everybody or something. Like they made it so hard to
Did
unlock the.
you, speaking of PT, not to jump in here, but did you hear about the rumors
No,
about about PT
no. What rumors?
and how? So take it with a giant grain of salt, okay?
Get my hype
But
levels up here, man.
there's some connections, some links that people have found between PT and Death Stranding,
What?
and that they may or may not be connected, and that Death Stranding may or may not be Silent Hills.
What?
Like there's, and again, all rumor, all like total bullshit. There's no way it's gonna be true, but it's pretty compelling. Like some of the stuff
I
that I'm
mean,
reading.
it would be, but it would only be cool if. I mean, what I want is a game like PT, and I don't think Death Stranding is going to suddenly turn into PT, right? Or Resident Evil 7, like the beginning of that. I don't know. If you're into PT, I mean, there's a game called Allison Road that someone basically is still working on. That they released a big beta version of it that feels like PT, kind of in a lot of ways. Very realistic looking house that was inspired by PT, but who knows when that'll be actually be done. I wouldn't mind playing that kind of a game in VR.
Do you want me to read some of these to you?
Yeah, what? Read. What are we talking about?
Well,
Rumors?
the Silent Hills Death Stranding connections.
But Konami, I guess, don't they own the rights to it now or
To
no?
what?
Silent Hill?
Well, no, but so you don't call it Silent Hills, and then it's
Right.
just the same project, right?
Sure.
Both. So there's big easy things right up front. For example, both games feature prominent babies. Who cares, right?
I guess so.
But here's a little thing: is that there's a monster in PT, um, data mined as a finished model from the PT demo.
Yeah.
That's basically a giant hand chasing the player. And then, as you see in the Death Stranding thing, it's like a little cryptic, but there's like those the central entity in Death Stranding is like that invisible thing that's like walking hands,
Handprints and stuff. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I guess so.
There's some shots from the Silent Hills teaser or Silent Hills teaser that's like exactly the same locations as stuff they showed in Death Stranding,
Weird.
like same river, same stuff, right?
Oh.
There is something that Kojima posted in 2014 about like moss from Iceland. He posted something that says "I see the town" and it's a picture of the town that says "Only Moss lives here." But then if you look at the E3 2018 Death Stranding reveal, there's like I don't know a heavy focus on moss, and then there's a weird
Hmm.
there's a picture in PT of like an upside down. It looks like a U with a dot in it.
Yeah.
But if you flip it upside down or reverse the cover, then it looks exactly like the bridge that Mads Mikkelsen goes under in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of shit. There's a J. There's something to do with like J and PT. So it says something about like contact me from a guy named J. And then there's like a J in the so like
Man,
there's just a whole bunch of stuff like
I gotta
this.
dive down this rabbit hole.
I'll post a link to this article in the show notes. But it's fun. Like even if it's not true, it's cool to think about. And if anybody's gonna pull this shit off, it's
You
Kojima,
know what?
right?
He can do some. What's he gonna do after Death Stranding anyway? He could do a horror game,
Sure.
right?
Well, I think Death Stranding is
Whatever he
kind of a
wants.
horror game, anyways, right? Like
Well, yeah,
horror sci-fi.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, he could go full. Well, we'll see. I mean, I still don't even know what Death Stranding is. I still don't know.
I think that's intentional.
Yeah. Yeah.
I unusual, but I got 2 platinum trophies this week.
Whoa. Haven't heard that for a while.
I
Platinum.
got I got a platinum in Horizon Zero Dawn.
What?
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. It's a lot of fun.
Great.
And I mean, any game that has single playthrough where I don't have to do like multiple
Yeah.
difficulties is
You got a
a
platinum?
win in my book. Well, and if I enjoy the game enough, right?
Hmm.
And if the stuff isn't like, I don't know, I think about something like Yakuza. I've never platinum a Yakuza game because it's like the most boring.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Stupid.
But it was just the right amount of stuff, So I really enjoyed doing that, and I finally got platinum in Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Ooh.
And I thought about that when you're saying about Destiny and looking up things that you would never find otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Frustrating that they made all the trophies in Astrobot hidden trophies.
Mm-hmm.
So then I can't even try to do it on my own. I have to look up a trophy
Oh,
list.
yeah. No.
Right? I don't want to do that. Just tell me how to get these trophies so I can go find it,
All right. Give me a hint at least.
Yeah. If it just says hidden trophy and there's nothing, then
Yeah.
what am I going to do other than look it up?
Yeah. Oh.
Extra stuff you don't need to put in there. So those were fun. I really, really like both of those games a lot.
Mm.
Um,
Great. Yeah, I'm excited to play it.
Astrobot's something special. I'm excited for you to play it for sure.
Cool. Oh, great. I'm looking forward to it.
I bought Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap.
Oh, you did? In
I did.
anticipation for this new one that's coming out tomorrow or not?
No, it was on sale.
The new one's pricey. It's 49 Canadian, eh?
And I think that this one was really expensive too, was it not? When it first came out?
I don't think it was that much. It was 30 Canadian, I thought.
Which is too much.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is technically graphically a new game, but
It doesn't matter. It plays like the old
plays
game.
the old one, yeah. Well, there's a mode where you can swap, right?
Where it looks, but you swap on the fly.
Yeah.
Like you hit R2. I bought
That's
it
what I
on,
mean, right?
bought it
Like
on PS4.
it's a port with new graphical,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Which is fine. I mean, that's work, but
It feels like an old game.
Mhm.
Which it's fine.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's like a 3 out of 5,
Mhm.
I haven't finished yet, but I don't even know if I
Did you finish it back in the day? I assume you did,
no,
right?
I never even played it.
Oh, you never played it? Oh, I
No.
played it all. I played it. That was actually one of the great memories I had when I was growing up. Because I never had a Sega, but then one of my cousins had one, and I went over there. And they had it, or we rented it. We used to rent games all the time. I used to go over there and hang out for a weekend. And my uncle, we would all play together with my uncle and my cousin, and we would like take turns and stuff. And I
That's
remember
fun.
getting that game. And speaking about games that had mystery, imagine when you're like, 10, right, playing a game like that. Everything feels very mysterious. Like that was essentially probably the first Metroidvania I played. Now that I think about it, well, Metroid, I guess. But because Metroid, I was a bit too young to understand what it was, right?
Sure.
But this one, I was old enough where I kind of got, oh yeah, like this is a really deep game, or there's a lot of stuff going on. I didn't really get it, but I felt that feeling of mystery, and I felt like it was a game that if I had the system on my own and the game on my own, I would have played the hell out of it when I was that age.
I would have been all over it as a kid
Yeah,
too. Absolutely,
yeah.
I would have been.
Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, that's funny that I totally forgot about that memory.
And it looks good. It's super well animated, super gorgeous. One thing I appreciate at the title, you can move the cursor from new game, continue, options. You can hit up and it goes to the title, and if you hit circle on it, then it changes to Wonder Girl.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate that.
great.
So you can play
That's
through as
great.
female. I really, really like that a lot.
That's really cool that they
Yeah.
did that.
So we started a new game for Kiddo, and she just farted around a little bit with it, and it was fun enough.
Hmm.
I bought. Did you play Minute when it came out?
Yeah, but I didn't finish. I didn't finish it, believe it or not.
I finished it
Like I got stuck apart, or maybe I did.
in like an hour and a half.
It's short.
It's so short,
Yeah.
and it's so disappointing because I was really enjoying it, and then it ended. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it felt like I like I like the concept. I like the. So for listeners, this is a game that
And Minute is MINIT.
yes. So it's a Game Boy graphics, NES graphics style
Which is
game
bullshit.
where I like the aesthetic of it, but where it feels like not Minish Cap. It feels like the Game Boy Zelda game. What the hell is it called?
The seasons.
Link's
Ages?
Awakening. Link's
Oh, yeah.
Awakening. and you're like this guy where you have 60 seconds, and then you die, and but you remember obviously what you did, and so you go around trying to solve puzzles in 60 seconds each time, and the game can be beaten in 60 seconds once you have all the items. Like you get to save the items you have found and use
But
them.
you could reset your, excuse me. You can reset like your starting place when you get to a
Yeah,
different house,
you can start at different points on the map, and if
which
you
I thought was a little bit of a cop out.
a little bit, yeah. But I didn't mind it. But yeah, you're right. It's sort of a bit of a cop out. I just wanted a longer game. Like I liked what they were doing. I thought you could make a really cool, deep game with lots of secrets and lots of mystery in it. But it just felt like the budget wasn't there. The person didn't have enough time. I don't know. Like I love the idea, but it was just too short.
I completely agree, and I actually really like some of the character design stuff. Like some of the design elements, I thought were really great.
Hmm.
I thought like the monochromatic display is awful. Like the black and white thing is,
Color would have been better.
I'm kind of done with it, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I like what they did with the limitations.
bring your
They,
fill tool over to that bridge and click once, you know.
yeah. Like add some. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's possible this person didn't have had limited art skills and didn't want to waste their time on
Well,
that.
no, but I would argue that their art skills are really good. Like the design
So,
is really
so,
cool. The
so
character designs
following
are
through
really
more.
interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I guess that's
I
true.
just I just disagree with the design decision to
Mhm.
just keep it minimal and
Mhm.
Game
The
Boy.
music was cool. I think from what I remember, I like the music.
Unremarkable. It may have been, but I don't have anything to say
Yeah.
about it.
No, fair enough.
So Minute was a game I played, and like I say, I think I paid $10 for it, and I was really disappointed. Like it maybe three, I would have felt better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that sucks. I know I was asking about it earlier, but I got Dragon's Crown Pro from the old library.
Yeah. I saw you playing that.
It's a piece of shit. It's terrible.
Yeah. We played it a long time ago. Remember?
Did we? No, I don't
Played it
remember.
briefly on a demo or something at your house. That's where I played a little bit of it.
It's not good. Hey, you know what? If you're into it, then hey.
So
Cool.
that's yeah. So for the listeners, it's like a side-scrolling beat 'em up from Vanillaware, I think, right?
Yeah, but just play the Capcom beat 'em up bundle instead, and you'll be happier.
Yeah, it's got RPG mechanics, but like I don't know. I
Yeah.
doubt that they're very good. And gear and like if you want a Diablo like with beat 'em up, basically that's what it does. But I don't have time for that. So
No, it's not fun. The only other two things I played, and I don't really want to talk about either of them, other than I didn't like either of them. I bought Digital Domains Monkey King. These are both VR games. And the Monkey King one is just like a Wukong story, and you just watch it happen, and it's shittily animated and poorly acted, and it's terrible.
how much did that run you? It's on PS.
Like $2.
Oh, all right.
And then I bought Ultra Wings,
Yeah.
which was like 10 or 12 or something. And I played it for like 45 seconds. The very first mission that you have to do is you like take off and fly around for 1 minute. And I took off and I flew around for 30 seconds. I was like, this is fucking boring, and turned it off.
You like those kind of games.
Yeah, but I don't
that's
like
too
just
bad.
sitting. Well, I might go back to it, right?
I mean, you got to
might come
start
back.
doing. Yeah. I dare you go back to it, but
Actually, there's two things I wanted to talk about in regards to platinum trophies.
mhm.
Do you know after I platinum Horizon,
Yeah.
I got an email a couple hours later from PlayStation that said, "Hey, good job on platinuming this game. Here is a theme and an
What?
avatar that are exclusive to people who've platinumed this thing." I was like, "That's
That is
really cool."
They got to do that more often.
Yeah, I really dug that.
Give
I
it
know I'm
a
not going to use either of them, but I really
Yeah.
like the idea.
dynamic theme.
So
I
dynamic.
want a dynamic. What is that from?
I don't remember.
That's from. Oh my god, it's gonna bother me now, dude.
So
You just did
dynamic.
it. You
It's
just
probably
did it.
it's from YouTube poop.
It's an internet meme. Yeah, it is. But from what specifically? What is it from? Fresh Prince?
I don't know.
No. Oh damn. Well, it should be easy to figure out. All right, back to what we were talking about. Oh yeah. Like I like some dynamic themes and yeah,
So
like
dynamic.
Monster
Well, no.
Hunter.
The Tetris
one.
Effect one. Holy shit! I'm never changing it.
Oh, I guess I have that too.
It's
Or
I don't know.
pre-order.
It may only be for pre-order. It's really
Is
cool though.
that? I
I
still have
really
the
dig it.
Undertale one that I always have on that I really like.
Mhm.
So it has a really good piece of music that only came out in the demo for the prequel that he was working on, or sequel, or neither of those that came out that he announced that he's working on for a year. It was fun. I played it. Took me like it was like a 4 hour demo. Like it was a little miniature Undertale style game that he did, and the end piece of music was that piece of music from the um, dynamic theme. That's so it was really cool. I forgot I didn't talk about that. I mean, I know you're
You
not
don't
huge
have
into
to.
Undertale, but I really like the pacing of that game. I think the pacing of Undertale is great for an RPG, and I like the combat system. Um,
I like nothing.
and the characters are a little bit. It has that millennial feel for some of it, though, so I don't
All of it.
identify with it completely. But it also does things that are, yeah, like it loses me on some of the millennial humor stuff, but then it'll win me back on a lot of the other stuff. So it's
I,
cool.
I feel
But
awful that for most games I'll say, you know, what you're into, you're into, you know.
yeah,
Uh, I don't like I can't Undertale. I couldn't remember what it was called.
that's okay. You don't have to like it.
No, I know, but it's and like most of the time, hey, totally cool, whatever you're into. But just I don't know why I have such
I
a
think we
vehement.
had this
I'm
conversation
sure we
before
have.
where this ended up being my almost Earthbound, because when I Earthbound came out, I kind of
Okay.
missed it,
Yeah.
and I missed the whole thing, and I missed it like I just missed
Maybe
it.
that's why I hate it is because people compare it to Earthbound. It's
And I
fucking
could see why they
disgusting.
compare them. They're not the
Um,
same, but
the other
um,
thing I wanted to mention about Astrobot is that so I went through and I did all the challenges and it was surprisingly difficult. Like you got to be good at that game to
cool.
beat some of
Good.
those challenges.
Mhm.
And I was really really happy when I finished them. And so I checked the rest of them. There was like some cleanup trophies, like beat this boss looking the other way, and spray yourself with water, this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And then the last one, there's like a gotcha machine that you drop coins into and get like little diorama things.
Yeah.
And there was 3 trophies related to just sitting there and grinding them out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so boring. But I got a way around boring shit now. And she is 7 years old.
I thought you were going to say that. She finds it really well. It's VR, right?
She loved it. And so it's funny because I always said, like, VR, they say that I'm sure it's fine for kids and there's no problems. I'm like, we'll kind of limit it to like 10 minutes
Mhm.
at a time.
Mhm.
And she sat there for a half hour just pulling coins out of the machine.
Did you check in with you ever so often, like you're the boss and like
No, I was in the room and I
how
was
about
making
this
sure she
many?
was fine. And I kept asking her, I'm like, you okay? Do you want to stop? She's like, no, it's fun. I'm like, okay, keep going then.
Can't wait.
So I got all of the trophies but 3, and kid got those last 3 for me. So that was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That must be fun. Still
Yeah.
not there yet.
She can I tell you, like, I don't know, is it annoying to talk about like kids stories that are on video game related?
No, I don't
she's
care.
she's crazy. I'm starting to see like this. I think that you have some of the personality traits of your parents just by virtue of spending time with them, right?
Yes.
Some of their interests are going to be similar to yours just by virtue of being around whatever thing.
Mhm.
So I heard she was in the bath today. I was in the other room and I heard her saying something about this shampoo and how the shampoo has crab water in it. And that if you pour, she was talking to my wife and she goes, there's crab water in this shampoo. And if you pour it on your head, then it melts all your skin off. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it sounds like something you would say.
Just it's
when
that
you're
kind of
that age.
stuff.
Yeah.
I said, do you want to, when I got home from work, I'm like, you want to read something together? And so I said, go pick something. And she pulled she pulled a book off the shelf called The Strange Tales of Liao Tsai. And it's like this book that I bought in Taiwan about like these super weird like Buddhist stories or like some Taoist thing where like somebody fall. Okay, so here's an example. And I think that this is where the skin thing came from.
Right.
As that There's a and it's a comic, but it's like that
Oh, yeah.
shitty Chinese. Like it looks terrible.
It's
I
cool.
like
You
the
might want to add some context to that.
what?
It's like that shitty Chinese, and then you just sort of trail off and say
No, but you
something
know,
else.
but you know the difference between like there's you can tell the difference between Chinese comics and Japanese comics.
I don't know. I don't read Chinese comics.
Yeah, there's a
I don't know
reason.
what they look like. That I don't. I'm not sure.
In any case, so this story is about it always starts by saying like there was a poor man who lived in this province, his name was whatever, like super dry.
Right. They're
And how-
fables.
Yeah, he was walking on the street and he found there was a woman came after him and was like, oh, I need help, I have nowhere to stay. And he says, come stay in my house.
Right.
And then she's like, okay. So they go and they talk and they have a good time.
Immediately, I'm envisioning friggin' this is the start plot of a Junji Ito comic. But anyway,
Well, it's not far off.
great.
So then he leaves her at home one time and he goes out and he's like, oh, I'm so happy to have this woman at home. And then there's a Taoist master, and this was cool because then we got to talk about like the Mr. Vampire connection and how like there's this we talk about the peach sword and talk about all this cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So there's this Taoist guy comes in. He's like, "Oh, you have the stench of death surrounding you. Did anything strange happen recently?" And he's like, "What? No." And he was like, "Are you sure? Think what's different?" And they say something about like, it's strange how men can be so close to death and not realize it or something, right?
Yeah.
And then so he starts like getting a little creeped out by it, and he wanders home, and he's like, "I'm just gonna peek in the window and see if there's anything going on." And he looks in the window, and the lady's at home, and her skin is off, and she's like painting the skin, and she's like, I don't know, a skeleton, and she's got like this freaky like demon face.
Yeah.
And so I guess the skin is like the guise to, hide her demon.
Right.
And so he's like, "Oh, what the heck?" And then she like freaks out and he runs away. And then the Taoist guy comes and like kills her.
Sounds awesome.
And that's amazing. And then at the end, it shows they always have, like you say, the fable. They always have like a moral at the end. And this one's essentially don't judge a book by its cover, right? It says something about how people, whatever, you get the idea. But she loves it. She loves the shit. So it's so like the weirdest, like it's not on par with what you would normally expect a 7-year-old to be into, right? Like if she ever went to school and be like, I read the strange tales of the outside and there's a woman that had no skin.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it so much. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. While we're talking about this, there's some behind me. I thought of this. Don't show this to her. You remember this one? I'm going to send you the link to it. I don't know where this came from, but
I got another one for you when you say don't show this to her.
let's show you this.
While you're sending that, so I actually mentioned it to
Do you know this comic? Do you know this one? This short horror short comic? You must. But the guy goes to the window with a telescope.
Well,
and he's looking across the street and he sees this weird lady.
No, but I like it.
Oh, it's horrifying, dude. It's
All
like
right.
you read the whole thing. It's
Okay,
just
I'll look for it.
Don't show Jane that, you'll give her nightmares.
I went into because we have like the spare room upstairs is where I keep like all my bookshelves, and like there's a bunch of really cool stuff up there.
Mm-hmm.
And she was looking through the books and she's like, "What's this?" And she pulled Junji Ito's what's the most Shiver? Is that the most recent?
Shiver's the recent one, yeah.
Yeah, she looked at the cover of that. I was like, don't look at that one. She like started giggling, and she goes, "How about this one?" And pulled out like is it called Dissolving Classroom?
You know what I was gonna say before you said that.
What?
Ultra.
Ultra Gash. You know, I can't find it.
I know you said that.
I would love if she found Ultra Gash.
Yeah.
No, she pulled a Dissolving Classroom off the shelf. You ever read Dissolving?
Yeah.
And so like the front cover has like the brother and the sister. There's like a bunch of melting people on the front. She's like, "Can I look at this?" I'm like, "No."
How old is she now? What, 7?
Yeah.
It's still a little too early for that, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's cool that she's starting to get into it. Do you know what we watched on the weekend was Monster House?
Yeah. You know what's odd?
House? Yeah.
We watched it too, or Gene wanted to watch it again because I put it on for a one time,
That
And
scared the shit out of her. It's
she got
scary.
scared when the guy runs out of the house and yells at the
Yeah.
boy. She had enough, and then she saw it again on the Netflix, and she said, "I want to watch that." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" And this was like, I don't know, this was like 6 months ago or more than that. And I'm like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah." And we watched through that part, and she was cool. She was like, "Okay."
That's cool.
I kept checking in with her, and she was like, "Yeah." She got bored with it, but
There you go.
never finished it. But
Um,
I watched that. I posted it on Letterboxd. I watched that documentary.
put shit on
I
Letterboxd.
just did today. Two things. For some reason, I like watching documentaries about film directors. So I watched. Well, I'd already previously watched De Palma, which I really loved
I did
quite a
too.
bit. But I watched Film Worker, which is essentially a documentary about um, what's his name,
Leon Vitali.
Leon Vitali. Yeah,
They were talking about this on Film Junk, weren't they?
yeah, probably, maybe. I don't know actually, but I don't know if it was this week. Then I didn't hear that part, but I haven't finished the episode. But yeah, Leon Vitali,
Because
who's the
you guys have
assistant.
simpatico.
I guess so. He was the assistant to Stanley Kubrick, and he started assisting Stanley Kubrick after he did a movie with him for the first time as an actor, and he was like this pretty well regarded up and coming actor, Shakespearean and other stuff. And then he just decided instead of acting, he would learn filmmaking under Stanley Kubrick and became his like lifelong assistant who did everything for like 30 years. And he did like everything. He was like his right hand man. And it was mostly a documentary about him rather than Kubrick, which was pretty interesting. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Highly recommend it.
Did you just watch De Palma recently,
No, I watched De Palma like I just logged it as if it was today, but I
He's
watched
badass.
De Palma, yeah, that was super fun.
Beetlejuice, one of your favorite movies?
Yeah, I love that movie.
I don't.
I know we watched it together again like a year ago, and
Mm.
I remember you were sort of lukewarm on it. I love that movie.
I watched Mom and Dad.
You did?
Yeah,
Is that Nick Cage one?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Not,
good.
it's not good.
Uh,
The other thing I want to say about video games is the December PlayStation Plus coming tomorrow.
yeah, what do we got?
Soma
Mm-hmm.
PS4, which I was actually looking forward to playing.
Really?
So that's cool. At least for a bonus. Onrush,
Yeah.
which I don't give a shit about.
What is that?
Some racing game,
Okay.
but like squad racing or something.
I
I'm
bet
not sure.
Don knows a lot about Onrush. I just feel like he would know about this game.
Yeah, yeah. But the one I was actually really happy about is that Iconoclast is on the
Oh
list.
yeah, yeah. That I kind of got a couple hours into and got sidetracked, but from what I played, I did enjoy it.
That is a game that, like Minute, is too expensive for too long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's been like $25 forever.
yeah. No, yeah, it'll be good. I'm sure. It got a lot
So
of good reviews.
that's not a great month, but a decent month.
Good,
It's
yeah,
worth it.
decent.
Yeah. The only other thing I guess that I want to talk about that I wrote down. Oh, then there's some other like PS3 shit, but whatever.
Yeah, all right, we'll get to it.
Not that I played for PS Plus. I mean,
Oh, okay.
but the only other thing I want to say is there was a really cool thread on Reset Era,
Mm-hmm.
about there's like old photos of devs.
Oh, I overlooked that.
Yeah, it's a cool thread. I'll put a link to that in show notes too.
All right, yeah, that'd be neat.
But there's a bunch of pictures of like Miyazaki and a bunch of guys like who's the Sakurai
Mm-hmm.
who looks exactly the same as he does now.
Yeah, Sakurai does. Yeah,
So check that thread out too.
yeah.
I'll post a link to that into the Silent Hills thing.
Cool.
All right. Outside of that, I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm pretty tapped out this week. I'm sure I'll be able to talk a bit about the Destiny expansion next week. It comes tomorrow, and well, I won't be talking about unless the reviews are like 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 for that Monster Hunter game. I think I'm gonna pass for now. Well, it's $49. The one that comes out tomorrow, the new one.
What is it?
It's called Monster World. What's it, Cursed Kingdom or something? Am I wrong?
Monster Hunter?
No, not Monster Hunter. Wonder Boy Monster World or
Oh,
whatever.
I don't give a shit.
That new one, the one that
Yeah.
they've been working on, that was
Yeah.
like previously called Frog something 2.
Hamster.
Yeah, Hamster Flying
Story.
Hamster 2. And then the devs from that worked on Monster World games that joined. Or
So
something.
expensive though.
Yeah, it's too expensive.
Actually, that's what I thought Dragon's Trap was. So I was super pissed when I when I started playing it.
Oh, you thought you were buying the new one? No,
Yeah.
that one's been out for like a year. No, the new
No,
one.
no. I knew it was there for a year, but I thought that hamster one was Dragon's Trap.
No, that's the old game.
Whatevs.
So it comes out tomorrow. What's the actual game? The name of the game, since we're friggin' mentioning it so much.
I don't know.
Monster World.
Wonder Boy.
Called Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom.
There you go.
And it's on. I think it's going to be on Steam and PS4 tomorrow.
Okay.
PS4 for sure, anyway. I think not on Switch. On 4. Oh no, it's on Switch tomorrow. Never mind. It's going to be like 60 frames a second. It's supposed to be running really well on Switch. So
that feels like a Switch game.
It'll actually be the same on all platforms here. So unless they make it 59 on Switch, which I would doubt they would do that.
There you go.
Yeah, that's all we'll maybe talk about next week.
Sure. Do you know what's really cool?
What?
Like super exciting. This is episode 96.
Yeah, man.
We're inching ever closer.
Yeah. So the big 100.
Yep. Big hundo.
Yeah.
Episode hundo.
It's the name of it already. We figured that out. Don't do that anymore.
Remember, because we have the shit. What's the year thing called?
The what?
RNG edition. Episode hundo, best of 2018 RNG edition.
There you go. I agree. I put my vote in for that. Keenan's vote doesn't matter because he's not here.
Veto power.
He'd get outvoted anyway.
All right. We'll talk to you in a week's time.
We'll see you in a week.
Bye.
Oh, peace out.